Alright guys, it's me, Clown, and Ruby, on the Clown Ruby podcast, and today we're talking about Rick and Morty, and Harry Potter, and general bollocks, as normal.
But.
Try not to be enthusiastic, you gotta be depressing.
Word.
Oh, it's so depressing.
We suck.
It's so bad.
Anyway, Rick and Morty.
I just finished it.
Yeah, it's actually a really good series, but really short. Which I'm not
That's the thing, like I said. I think it was like 3 years ago. No, longer than that, about 6 years ago. Like, I went on to YouTube and I was watching a dude do like reviews on a TV series. Actually, it was a very old TV series, and it was about like time travel and stuff. And he compared that to like Rick and Morty. And then somebody else I was watching compared another film to Rick and Morty, and they just kept on comparing it to Rick and Morty, and I was like, that's something I don't want to watch if it's getting compared.
That's the thing, Rick and Morty is very similar to Beavis and Butthead. Like, in the humour style. But it's also like complete opposite.
Well, I think it's more like on the tone of like South Park, with like the swearing and stuff.
That's the thing, I like South Park, but
I used to be a fan, but I think after season 1 like of South Park, I just got bored of it because
that's the thing, I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I've never been a fan of South Park, but it's normally for me it's been American Dad or Family Guy. But
American Dad, I prefer that over Family Guy.
That's the thing, like with South Park, it's very like
it's
the same as Rick and Morty humour style.
Humour, yeah, but I would say with South Park it's more sexual.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty's got some sexual stuff in it, but it's like not in your face.
Rick and Morty's sex references.
Yeah.
Like obviously they've got some sort of sexualized scenes in it where like they've got some weird element or fucking weird alien chicks with massive like boobs, but like that's just part
boobs
of
on a
humor.
fucking elbow.
Yeah.
I thought it was a penis because it like how they blurred it out. It looked like a penis, but to be quite fair, like it is kind of good that they blur it out, and they beat the swearing as well.
No, Danny.
Yeah, they do. If you hear Rick all the time when you say fuck off.
No, but there's a few of them where they have left it out.
Bitch.
But it's like certain things, like if Rick and Morty, or if Rick says cunt, they'll blur that out because that's known as an offensive word.
But yeah, no, he's like.
But if you don't notice it, when he does say cunt or that, they blur his mouth as well.
Yeah. It's actually kind of a fun series to watch.
I was just saying that, like, I'm actually mad that they haven't put out more episodes. I mean, the last time that was updated was probably 2020, maybe 2019 when it come out.
I don't know how long it's been out for.
It's been out since about 2019.
I'll have to look that up, but
it says on well, it's been on Netflix. I can that it's been on Netflix since 2019.
Yeah,
I'm sure it didn't come out. I'm sure it didn't come out like that long before that.
Well, it's got 5 seasons.
But that's the thing, it's got 5 seasons, which is fair enough. But the episodes are 20 minutes long.
Yeah, but I think I could be one of them people that would binge watch it again in a couple of months. I wouldn't just sit there. It's the same like me and How I Met Your Mother. Like, I love that show. Like, it's one of my favourite comedy shows. and I watched that every single season twice. But the first month I watched every single episode. Like,
that's the thing, that was a bit like me with 13 Reasons Why and Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black, amazing, I could watch that a fucking million times, but
it gets boring after
like 13 Reasons Why, like I didn't have the stomach to watch that shit again. Like, it's alright, the whole seasons are fine until the last one. That's when it gets quite sickly and you've really got to have a good stomach to handle that.
Most people nowadays, like,
which if you haven't watched 13 Reasons Why, like, give it a watch, but like at least have a strong stomach, or at least have a bucket with you, because like I watched, I think it was the last 5 or 6 episodes there, and I almost threw up.
Yeah, but it depends.
Which is saying something, because like when it comes to gore and like
that's what I'm saying,
blood and stuff like that, I'm normally alright.
It's like me though. It's like hospital, like 24 hours in A&E or casualty or what you call ER or stuff like that.
You wouldn't know like Grey's Anatomy?
No, I've seen some of it. I'm just not a fan of it. I just don't get it. But it's like them depicting as like real life shit, whereas in like a horror movie like Jason Voorhees or something, slashing someone in half, I think that's cool.
That's saying, like, with 13 Reasons Why, it's very realistic mental health based.
That's why.
If you haven't seen it, obviously click off and watch it first and then come back here and then, because spoilers. But if you haven't seen it, it's basically about a lassie that committed suicide and she left 13 tapes for like her classmates or whatever, and she basically said in the first tape, if you've been given these tapes, you're the reason why I done what I done. And you're basically like
shit.
like this character Clay, which is the main role in 13 Reasons Why, he basically listens to the tapes and she gives him directions to like certain spots and she tells the memory of these spots. And one of them, like, there was a rape scene where she got raped in a hot tub by this like jock.
Well, I've seen one. It's on Netflix, but I don't know if it's 13 Reasons Why. But it's like they're in a high school. All these kids are in high school. Actually, I'll let you finish. And then I'll tell you more.
Well, basically, she got raped in a hot tub. And at one point she was like either sleeping with Clay or dating Clay or something along the lines of that, and that's why Clay was then given the tapes. But Clay has really bad memories after listening to a few of the tapes, where he gets with this lass and he just cannot sleep with her, because every time he does he sees Hannah's face. And it's like as I said, the first few seasons are fine. It's the last one where like this kid's gone through shit and he like takes guns to school, and Clay goes outside and like stops him from shooting down the school because he originally got bullied at that school. And then he told a teacher something. He basically fucking grasped on one of the other students, and they followed him into the bathroom. He had just come back from school and they'd followed him into a bathroom and shoved a mop up his bum. And literally it went that far where he started to bleed, and when they pulled out you could see the blood, and it was disgusting. And like every time he went to the toilet he would bleed. It was just horrible. And I feel like certain things in that film happens in school, and I feel like obviously it doesn't go to that extent, bullying, but I feel like that must have happened to someone in real life for them then to put that in a film. Like, especially because the film, like, because the seasons are based in America. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me.
to be honest, in a lot of American schools, it's like a film I watched called Beat. It's on Netflix, real good. It's a sort of music based. It's got. Do you know the guy who plays out of Kangaroo Jack, like the black guy?
I know who you're talking about.
I forgot his name. But it's got him in it, and he's playing as like. He works at the school, but he's also a musician on the side. Like, I would say more like a publisher, an agent. And there's a kid that goes to school, and he's basically like, this school that they have, it's real life school in real life, and it's in America, where when you walk into the school, you go through metal detectors. And that's because there's so many shootings inside that school that they've done it where it's got more
security. Literally, I think maybe not even a week ago, there was a Texas school shooting. And there was like quite a few people injured, and like maybe 4 died.
That's because a lot of people, whether or not they were sick as fuck, who idolise them 2 kids from the Columbine shooting. Like, they left tapes, but the thing is, we've never seen them tapes. We've only seen a few.
I've actually seen one of them. Except the only one that wasn't allowed on YouTube was where they actually done the killing, or the actual shootings. But there was CCTV videos.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
tapes.
No, the original tapes got confiscated by the FBI.
No, but I'm saying there's a few of them that have been leaked.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know if it's someone for FBI or not, but
the Columbine people idolise them. It's like they even made an RPG game based around Columbine shooting, which is
that was that one guy.
Yeah,
that ended up becoming a murderer.
Yeah, but
no, he said he was going to shoot up Google because they wouldn't publish that game.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
Cycles.
Sick there, but there was a Yeah, I did see it on Netflix. It's after I watched How I Met Your Mother for the final season of that. Clicking through and it came up as a recommended. So, me being into my romantic comedies, I thought it was like gonna be that, but it wasn't. And this girl is a cheerleader and is a jock, and they go to a beach party, and she's with a friend, and yeah, it's 2 girls and like all these jocks. The slutty one goes off and like parties with everyone, whilst the other one wants to go home. So one of the jocks says you take her home, like walk her back, and he ends up raping her. You know, you got bleachers, like it's like that, but in a school, like football pitch thing, like a rugby place, and she gets raped there.
That's saying it's. That sounds like a bit like 13 Reasons Why, but it's no, and the only reason I can that is because she did get raped at a pool party.
Well, this last, you don't... He hits her with a rock or something. And then, like, she's, like, dazed and, like, not conscious, but sort of conscious. Going in and out of conscious. And all you see is him on top of her, and then you hear it, like, it pans out, moves away, and you see the bleachers, like, from a different angle. I think it's, like, towards, like, seeing it straight forward, but, like, tilted to the side, to the left. You see that, and then you see his head, like, the bottom of his head, top of his head, and all you hear is no, and then like, her screaming, and it just fades on to the next
That's the thing with 13 Reasons Why. I think before Hannah was raped, she was actually in. So the way the school was based, they had obviously the outside football pitch, and then you go through this gate, and it's like a wee hut where all the jocks would hang out and like smoke weed or day drugs or whatever the day. And they had went in there with Hannah. I can't actually remember how she got to actually go in there, because they wouldn't let anyone in there unless you're like a cheerleader or a jock. But she went in there anyway, and the jock had taken pictures on a Polaroid camera. They do that with everyone that comes in and out. And later on, after she'd been raped and obviously she committed suicide, Clay had snuck into that place and he had found a box of literally about 15 to 16 different teenage girls drugged, passed out on couches, like things like that. And I'm sure I think he went to the police, I don't know. I'm sure his mum took him to the police about it.
That reminds me of someone I know. That's the thing, like, he was my mate Derek. Well, he's not my mate, he was basically at the time someone who would go to the shop for us or buy his baccy and stuff like that. But he was quite older, and he was actually cousins with my best mate Briggsy. But he was creepy, like to the point that like no girl wanted him. But the thing is, like, it was weird because he came out of a long-term relationship that was like lasted 16 years or something, and then he came out and just ended up being this massive creep.
That's the thing, I didn't really know anyone that's creepy per se. Like, I know someone that's literally just isn't fussy with who he gets with as long as he gets to sleep with the last, like, it doesn't matter. But like, I didn't really ken anyone that's creepy to the point where it's like disturbing.
Well, that's
except one person, but I'm not gonna name a chick.
That's the thing with Derek, it weren't that, like, it was when we were at parties, like, he came to my birthday party, my 19th, and he literally was like all my girl mates that were 16, 17, quite young, not to a point that they're like 13, 14 underage, but they were like just turning 16 and stuff like that, or actually being 16. Like, he would sit and talk to them, but he would talk about sexual things. Like, he'd be like, have you done this, have you done that? And if they answered no, then he would be like, come on, pressuring them, sort of like invading their privacy but invading their space, if you know.
That's the thing, like, I've actually had a few mates that, like, in their mind they think, oh, I'm mates with Nicole so I can ask her anything, which to a certain extent you can. Like, I'm an open book, I'll talk about anything, like mental health related relationships, whatever. I'll talk about anything, but there's a fine line where it's like, that's alright and then that's just crossing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
But, like, I've had people ask me, like, oh, have you done such and such? And I'm like, that's clearly none of your fucking business, whether we're mates or not.
When people used to ask me if, like, not a lot of people knew that I smoked weed back then. Like, I'm saying, like, obviously I don't smoke it now and you can verify that, but like, when I did smoke it, it's not, like, now, clean and sober, don't touch it at all. Like, if someone says to me, oh, have you ever smoked weed, I wouldn't be like, no, I haven't, because I have. But sometimes it was like, that was drawing a thin line, Whereas like, if someone asked me if I took pills, or for instance, I'm saying like, if we got into an argument, say it was about drugs, right, and I was smoking weed, but then you thought I was taking coke or pills or something, that's a thin line, a very thin line to me, because they're like, every single drug, compared, like, I'm saying heroin, Mandy, fucking black hair, whatever, any form of that, will not take.
That's the thing, like, I've had one specific person, so this person, I'd smoked weed with them, I only done it twice and I didn't touch it again. Didn't like the smell of it, didn't like taste it, nothing to do with it. But after we had done that, he had come up to me, like he was at mine one day, and he was standing at the window on a fag, and he just turned around to me and was like, Nicole, do you want to come up too and Dame Andy with us? And I'm like, one, who's us? And two, no. And he was like turned to look at me with this shocked expression on his face, like I was disgusting.
Yeah.
And he was like, why no? And I just turned around and I was like, because I'm not a junkie. Like, I smoked weed twice with you, I didn't do drugs, that's not my thing. Like, it's no cool to do fucking hardcore drugs, Mandy, coke, heroin, you name it, I'm not about that.
No, I'm not, and that's the thing, yeah, I like my alcohol, I'll admit that.
That's the thing, I didn't mind alcohol, I didn't drink because my granda was an alcoholic, but, and like, I was brought up around my granda being pissed, like, to the point where he couldn't walk. But that's why I'm not a big drinker, but I didn't mind alcohol, as long as it's no gradually killing you.
Yeah.
Like, at least with us, like, we could have a drink together and be absolutely fine, we could have one or two and then call it a night, but I'm talking about, I didn't like being around people that drink every day, which is why I wouldn't go to a club or anything like that.
Yeah, but this is
didn't like,
which I want.
I can't say I didn't like people that smoke weed or that, because my brothers do, but
yeah, but that's different.
I mean, people that do like coke or things like that, I didn't like they people, I didn't associate with they people, because I didn't like it. Like, if you're offering me to do drugs, you know you like mate.
But saying that, like, this is where it all came about with him being more creepier, is we used to go to a club called the Black Swan, or Black Ball, or whatever it was called. It was in Halifax anyway, and it was a club, and it was known for that place being like people getting spiked, and I have been spiked twice, and it's not enjoyable. It is probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had. But saying that, there was a rumour going around that he spiked girls in that club with pills, so the Dateline drug was like literally a big thing back there.
That's the thing, like, I didn't like going clubbing, mainly for the simple fact is, I'm not just saying men and women didn't get drugged, I'm saying, like, I'm saying men didn't get drugged as well, but for me being a young, like, fragile female girl, I would be none the wiser if I got spiked until it kicked in. That's why I didn't go clubbing, and the fact that it happens more and more, especially in Edinburgh, there's these people that's like, I think they're called like drug officers. They're not actually police officers, but what they do is hand out like lids for your drinks, like your glasses, with a hole so you can put a straw in it so no one can spike you. And they basically hand out like things to help you stop getting spiked and things like that. But like, I just didn't get the big hype about clubs and about drinking and about partying with a bunch of random people. Like,
it used to be a thing where it was like, the only reason we went clubbing is one, we're getting drinks, but saying that, like, my sister and my mum used to go clubbing. Well, I would say they would go to the pubs.
That's it. Clubbing. I didn't mind a pub.
No, but this is the thing. They would go to dance, like an actual club, to dance. But Haley, being my older sister, like, would come at me and be like, oh, so fucking amazing on, you should go clubbing when you're 16. When it turned 16, didn't bother going. Like, I basically did it every year where I would just have a tent and I would camp out. And
that's the thing, like,
few drinks.
For my birthday, I never drank. Like, at all. Even to this day, I didn't like drinking on my birthday because to me it's just another day I get older.
But my 18th is when I went to my first club, and it was shit.
Yeah,
it was like I was stood at the bar listening to fucking. The point is, like, when you get into a conversation, you have to shout. In a club, you can't sit there and be like this, you know, one to one. Whereas in a pub, you can sit one to one and have music on and still, like, talk and have a few drinks.
On the fucking Telford.
Well, but it was like that. But there was points where it was like I was trying to talk to a friend and being like, oh, I'm going out for a fag, and they wouldn't hear me, so I would go out for a fag, and then they'd come out 5 minutes later being like, where the fuck have you been? And it's like,
that's the thing,
I told
like,
you.
I didn't mind pubs mainly because it's smaller, it's quieter, like, people tend to keep to themselves, but like, I just didn't get the hype at club. Like, I mean, I look at fucking 20, like, people in their late 20s that still go clubbing wearing fucking short skirts and all the rest of it, and I'm like, why? Why would you rather waste your money when you could buy fucking cans for the house or like a bottle for the, like, why go clubbing and waste your money? There's no point in it whatsoever. Anyway, fag break. Right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, now. Fucking hell.
So where were we? The conversation. Alright. Let's get into Harry Snotter or Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
And the Order of the Phoenix.
We've been playing Order of the Phoenix and we've actually completed the story now. It's just the collectibles we need to find it. Or discover those.
That's the thing, I used to have it on PS2. Fucking loved it.
I like that game. I like the film.
I didn't have them all. I had Order of Phoenix, Prisoner of Azkaban at one point, but I never played it. Like, I got it free. I told you about my mates who worked at CX. Like, I got it for free in a box that they were throwing out, and like, I got in that, it didn't work, so I didn't bother like looking for another copy. and I had Goblet of Fire, which I did enjoy, but it wasn't that great. But yeah, Order of Phoenix, probably one of my favourites.
We do have, what's the other one that we've got?
Philosopher's Stone.
We've got Philosopher's Stone as well, but it will only work on my computer.
It does, but
it did work at one point when I first got it, and now it just seems to have a heart attack every time I put it in.
Yeah,
but both good games. I really enjoyed the other one as well.
Philosopher's Stone. The first one is good. I just like the fact that it's not like you get to explore, but also you collect the famous wizard's card, which is an Easter egg in itself.
I like Philosopher's Stone only because you actually get to play the classes as well, properly. You do the magic and things like that properly.
That's the thing in Harry Potter. You don't see him go to every single class. That's the thing. Like in Order of Phoenix, he does go to no, not Order of Phoenix. Prisoner of Azkaban. He goes to Transfiguration. He goes to Charms, and he goes to Defense Against It, Dark Arts, but that's with Professor Lupin, and he does potions. They're 4 lessons, but there's more than that.
I don't actually know how many you do.
There's History of Magic. There's History of Magic. There's Charms, Potions, Defense Against Dark Arts, Transfiguration, Magical Creatures, one that Hagrid does. There's a few more, but that's the thing. Like,
I think in Philosopher's Stone, I believe you do the Hagrid gym. I think.
No, that comes in like the.
I don't know. We watched fucking Mikey D play them, but I don't know what one it was.
But yeah, Order of Phoenix, you don't do many lessons. You do Herbology, and that's another one I forgot about. You do that, you do Charms, and you do Potions. And I'm sure you can do Transfiguration if you complete it twice, the game twice. But the thing with Order of Phoenix is it's more about discoverables than it is like, you know, lessons and stuff like that, and more about the story. So, but it's a great game. I love discovering.
I like them both, but I think Order of Phoenix is probably slightly better.
Yeah,
but I can't tell if that's just because that one actually works on a computer or not.
It's probably that.
But yeah, Order of Phoenix is a good one.
Well, that's the thing. We watched all the films.
Be quite fair though, I don't remember a fucking thing that happens to the films.
I pretty much remember them all. Like, not every scene, like, but I remember most of it. If you know what I mean. Like, I know the history of Harry Potter. Just say that. And I can tell the difference on scenes and stuff like that from the books and the film. Like,
another good game that I've been playing, Tomb Raider. I like that game.
Tomb Raider Anniversary.
Even though, right, so I didn't play it. I play it on my laptop, but I do play it with mouse and keyboard. I play it with an Xbox controller, and it is easy, but sometimes the controller just doesn't do what you want it to do. Like, you'll press like, so RBs to obviously like grab stuff, so grab the ledges and that way and jumping about. And sometimes you'll press A and press RB and then she just doesn't grab. She'll put her arms out to grab, but she just doesn't, and she just falls to her death, and it's annoying. But
I would say that if anybody says that Tomb Raider is easy,
it's fucking hard.
It is bullshit. Most of the games from the first one that was ever made, like PlayStation 1, like, there was cliches to that game where you would die instantly for no
That's the
reason.
thing, I think I've just got used to dying in that game.
But that's
to the
the
point
thing,
where like
like,
it does now annoy me anymore.
It's like Uncharted though, like I've played the Uncharted, like the 4th game. Never played any of the others, but I played the 4th game, and the only reason I got it is because it cost me 30 quid and I got the big statue of Nathan Drake, and it was awesome. And I personally, Nathan Drake's personality is just hilarious. And another reason why I got it is because one of my friends on YouTube was doing it, and she supported my channel quite a lot, so I supported her by doing stuff that she wanted to see as well as other people. But I played Uncharted, and it is more trial and error. That's the basic of the game.
That's the thing, I feel like with Lara Croft it's just a bit like when you go into that game you have to expect to die. You're not got to do it always first try.
No,
but I do enjoy it. It is a really good game.
But that's why games have easy and normal.
That's the thing. Lara Croft doesn't
It's
have
like,
easy and normal. Lara Croft has medium or hard.
Yeah, but I'm saying medium's just average.
But that's the thing. Like,
normal.
I feel like, especially if you're playing it for the first time, it's a lot to get used to. Like I had to Google the fucking like controls for the Xbox pad because I didn't know I was playing it on PC keyboard and mouse when I first got it.
Show you in the pause screen.
But
I'm saying that's the thing with games. I hate people who are like this. Oh, why are you playing on easy? You're fucking new. If it's a brand new game out, right? It's like Resident Evil 2. I played it on easy, right? The remake. I played it on easy because it was like brand new out. Didn't have a clue what the fucking controls were and what to do in the game. So why wouldn't I play it on easy? And then I played it on hard.
Tell me my response is to that. Suck your mum. If you ever say that I'm playing on easy, fucking suck your mum.
And Resident Evil 4, like now I can play on Pro without.
That's the thing. I play the fucking Sims. So if anyone comes at me for playing on easy, suck your fucking mum. I play the Sims for a living. Get fucking shagged.
Yeah, but I'm saying like.
And Sims it doesn't even have a difficulty. You play it the way you want to fucking play it. So if I'm playing on easy, fuck
Mind
off.
you, I'll tell you one game that
Then
is a piss take. Basically, I was like this option, right? Dark Knight mode on Batman Arkham Knight, right? Arkham Origins. One of my favourite Batman games, and if anyone says it's fucking shite,
I've got that on PC.
literally suck your mum.
Which?
Because that is my favourite.
Suck your mum.
Yeah, that one's my favourite. But it says in the description of it before you start it, it says you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. Not once did I die, but I noticed a fucking trick to it. Before you die, just quit to the main menu and go back to the checkpoint. So Dark Knight mode is bullshit.
That's the thing. I believe I've got that on Steam, and it actually does work alright on my computer.
Yeah, it works perfectly.
But
But
it's like slightly laggy, but yeah, okay.
Actually, it's not. It's
it is a wee bit. I played it.
Actually, quite well, but it was the
keyboard.
keyboard.
To be quite fair, you can plug in a fucking pad if you want.
Yeah,
to
now.
But
I'm saying then I couldn't. But I'll tell you another fucking hard game, which is fucking ridiculous, that I've been playing earlier. Skate 3. Like, believe it or not, even though like I've seen a load of YouTubers do it, guaranteed they've not done every single challenge.
that's saying I used to be a fucking beast at Skate 3 when I had 360.
It's the controls.
And now I just can't do it.
But what I don't
like
get,
I used to be able to date backflip, front flip, you name it, I could fucking date in Skate 3. Now, not a fucking clue.
it's the back button, L2, hold it in there.
Right, smart.
But
Make me look fucking stupid, why don't you?
I'm saying is
I didn't care how to do either.
It's like there's this stupid challenge that I was trying to do, where you have to do it's called a late kickflip, right? And you have to do it over a couch. That motherfucker, right, over controls is utter bullshit. It tells you to hold down the R analog, and then flick it up, like flick it to the left side. I did that. He didn't even bother doing it. He did a pop shove it, and I'm just like, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to wait for him to fucking do it? Because that's the way you're supposed to do it, you know, without control. Whereas if it was Tony Hawk's, like the old school Tony Hawk's, and I mean like American Wasteland and stuff like that, if I wanted to do a late kickflip, all I had to do was press square and slightly down to bottom left, and then he would do it.
Since we're going on rants, Royal Mail, fucking cunt. I hate Royal Mail. Do you wanna know why? You already know. Do you wanna know why? Because I ordered a game on the fucking 3rd, and it's still not here yet. It was supposed to come on the 10th. That was 5 fucking days ago. 5 days ago, and it's still no fucking here.
It's been long, man.
And I tell you what, if that bastard that was selling on eBay is fucking scam me, I swear I will fucking grow wings and fly to wherever they are and peck them in the head with my beak. And if it does come, then I'll kiss him on the forehead.
You better not kiss no other bitch than me. You can.
Nah, but seriously, Royal Mail's a fucking joke. Literally, like, and their excuse is COVID. Bitch, you deliver to my doorstep. There ain't no COVID. You deliver the mail and post it through my fucking hole in my door. What COVID? Like, the package doesn't have COVID. What are you talking about? You fucking dumb cunt.
Well, there's a pandemic, isn't there?
Fuck the pandemic. There ain't no pandemic. We didn't have to wear masks now.
You know what we should do?
In the UK, didn't
we should just drive down the street. Well, get your mum to drive us, because
we can't drive.
Yeah, or your dad. Actually, your dad's a better driver than you.
No,
Mum's fucking scary.
No, trust me. Remember when my dad come and pick you up on the way back? He was trying to get so me and him were sitting in the back of the car. My dad was trying to get a CD for the glove box while I was driving, and he wasn't even looking at the road, so he swerved a bit.
But your mum never ever.
The thing is, when my mum, she's got massive road rage, and when she's raging, she don't give a fuck.
That's what I mean, like, when she's angry, God, when she's angry, when we were in the car when she was angry, she was fucking speeding down the road.
That's the thing, like, with me, like, if I was to learn to drive, right, which I do plan on doing at some point, if I was to learn to drive, I would never drive when my mum's on the road. Because if she was behind me or in front of me, fucking hell, there's bound to be an accident.
But saying that, like, we should do that and then have you open the sunroof just going, fuck the pandemic, like Mr. Bean.
I swear, it's so bullshit. Like, everywhere has an excuse for the pandemic now. We didn't have to wear masks. We didn't have to take COVID tests. Like, it's no a priority to take a COVID test or to wear a mask anywhere. What pandemic? Like, COVID is literally a fucking slight cold. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
And every time someone dies, like, they could die fucking anything. Literally anything. They could die of fucking cold sore and they put it in a COVID.
But saying that, like, anyway, we're moving on from that.
No. I'm not done with my rant. I'm raging. And I want to kill someone. See the fucking postie. See if it's that guy with the dreadlocks, right? We've got one Pacific postie who barely ever talks. When you say hi to him, he says like, hiya, and then he walks away, right? But see if it's fucking him, I will grab the bastard by the dreadlocks, hang on for the ceiling, and punch him like a fucking pinata. Why'd you rip that sticker off?
Because you're raging and I'm just sitting here just like, okay.
What if I wanted to take that back?
You don't need the sticker to take it back, you dog.
I don't want to take it back anyway, I'm just saying what if.
Oh, shut up and
anyway. Fuck Royal Mail, bunch of bastards. Same with the dreadlock guy, he's a fucking freak. We used to say it was Mason's boyfriend.
It won't surprise me.
Because he would only talk to Mason. Every time Mason saw him, he was like bright and happy and like, hiya. But every time he saw the rest of us, he'd be like depresso espresso.
That actually reminds me of my next door neighbour.
So every time we saw him, like every time the post day was coming, we'd chill with Mason and be like, Mason, your boyfriend's coming. Mason would be like, who? And then we'd be like, the postman.
My dogs used to hate the postman. And it is true. Like, no matter what, the dogs, like, hate the postman.
That's it. My dog did the mind the postman. Ken what my dog hated? Fucking ice cream van. One Pacific ice cream van called Mr. Whippy. Hated Mr. Whippy. Like, she would be at the she'd be at the living room one day, like Kenny's tune, the ice cream van tune. She would sit and howl that tune. She either really liked him or she really hated him.
Well, my dogs, it was funny. Like, the postman put a letter through, and it was addressed to the wrong person. So it weren't ours, it was the next door neighbours, and it must have like just in a hurry like shoved it through ours. So he knocks on our doors and the fucking dog just bolted straight out the door after him, and he was like, fuck this, and started running.
Ken what's funny? My dad got a cheque, right, for like, you already know this, my dad got a cheque for like £5,000 or something, right, and this was for his work. I think it was like compensation because he hurt himself at work. Actually, he did hurt himself. He got a massive gash in his shin. He's still got a big scar. And he had injured himself at work anyway, and they had put a cheque through our door, but at the time we didn't have like a cage to catch all the mail that come out. And my dad was at work, I was at school, Mason and Lois were at school, and my mum was at work, so no one was in. It was just Ruby on the rain. Come back, well, I come back because I left school early, but I come back from school and come in, there's paper ripped everywhere. Pick up the fucking bit that had the number on it and like one of the other bits, and it said Billy Harrison, £3,000, and I'm like, no, she didn't. So anyway, that happened, and then the next game day, Ruby thought it would be funny to take the insole out of my dad's shoe, chew that up, and just leave his shoe. So he had no insole. My mum had to buy him the insoles. But Ruby used to like do that quite a lot. Like, if we left, so my mum bulk buys toilet paper because there's a shit ton of us in this house. So she'll bulk buy toilet paper so she doesn't have to go out through the week to buy it. And if we leave it in the hallway next to the bathroom door, like, Ruby would have went, literally ripped open the bag, took one of the toilet papers out and ripped it all about the house. And when I come in, because it was always me that come in first, I'd have to pick up every wee individual bit. And then, like, she was just a fucking nightmare. Like, she would get into her treats all the time. We'd come home and she'd be like the size of a fucking shit house.
Yeah, my dogs did that. The funny thing is, like, I had a Chi and Yorkshire Terrier cross. Chi. But it was a handbag Chi anyway, a Luna. She was like, well, fuck her. There used to be like a, what do you call it, like a chair next to the counter, and we'd have the biscuit tin up on there, and she would jump up on the chair, well, she would jump on top of Scrappy, jump on the chair, and then jump up onto the finger, like the countertop, knock over the fucking biscuit tin, and then them two would just scoff all the biscuits.
That's saying, like, Ruby was fairly a good dog. It was very, very few times that she had ripped stuff up, which, lucky for my dad, it was a £3,000 check, but it was very rarely she ripped stuff up, and it was very rarely she got into her treats. But what annoyed me, the one day she did get into her treats, we gave her a handful of treats before we left. We always do it every single morning. We gave her a handful of treats before we left, and she would still be like, nah, fuck these treats.
Yeah,
I'd come back They treats are fucking still on the flare. She scoffed the ones in the back, and I'm like, why? They're the exact fucking same.
Well, what I had to do with Scrappy when he wouldn't eat his food was I would literally have to pick it. As soon as I put it into the bowl, I would pick it up with my hands. This is when he was a puppet. He was tiny. And then go over to him and feed him that way, and then show him where the ball is. He weren't blind all out. He knew where it was. It was just he was scared to do it for some reason.
That's the thing. Like with Ruby, she was a fucking she was literally. She was fucking. She'd eat a horse, like in one. Like she would eat anything. Like my mum and dad would. They started spoiling her. Mainly my mum, to the point where like my mum would leave treats out in the morning, which was fine, and she'd get her 3 meals a day. And then it got to the point where my mum wasn't leaving her treats in the morning. She was feeding her rich tea biscuits. And then like it just continued. Like every time my mum had a cup of tea, she'd have the rich tea biscuits, and Ruby automatically assumed she was getting one. So when we try to gradually stop her from getting them, she just wasn't having it. Same with, like, if anyone was eating though, it was the exact same. Like, I could be eating a fucking chicken curry and Ruby would be by my side wanting a bit. Like, it was all the time. But, like, Ruby, she had times where, like, she would eat a lot and then she would barely eat, and then she would eat a lot and she would barely eat. But I think it's because we used to fill her up with so much shit, to the point where it's like she just got put off her normal food. But she was like, she actually used to get ill a lot. Like she used to get really constipated a lot. She used to eat my hair. Because my hair is so long and heavy, my hair falls out quite a lot. Like even when I'm just tying it up, it falls out. And my hair would fall on the carpet. We used to have carpet in the hall and in here. And the living room, and it would fall on the carpet, and Ruby would lick the carpet. Like obviously when she's cleaning herself or whatever, she'd lick the carpet, and then she'd get my hair stuck in her mouth and swallow it, and it would get stuck in her stomach. And like there was one time where she was doing her business in the back garden, and she just started like pulling herself across the flare and like squealing, and my mum and dad were like, Nicole, you can't be tying your hair up in the living room. I was like, no, my fucking fault.
It's like Scrappy got constipated, right? And it was really bad because the back garden was like next door to like 2 other people, and these were like old people and were very like strict and like nosy as well. But we had big high fences, so I was happy with that. But I let Scrappy out in the morning every time. Like, bang on 6 o'clock in the morning, dogs were out because I was going to work. I let Scrappy out with Luna and they were running around doing the normal stuff. But then he started like yelping like no tomorrow. And it was like he was screaming. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Went over to him and he started yelping at me. And then he was like panting and stuff like that. And then he finished what he was doing. Came back in and like he couldn't sit down on his bum. Oh well. You know how dogs sit on the bum and like he couldn't sit down, he had to lay down. So I thought it was due to his accident, because, well, not accident, stupid fat bitch of an ex-girlfriend took him down into town and he got attacked by another dog, and this dog like punctured his stomach and he got appendicitis, so he had an emergency operation that very day at the Rex that was like literally across the road from us, which was great. But I thought it was due to that, because he was locked in a cage for a week. He went on and out for a week. you know, when we got him back, he had to stay in there, and Luna was like gone mental because she could play, he couldn't. I'd let him out during the night and let him have a run around a bit, whilst Luna was like locked in the bedroom. But I phoned my boss and I was like, I'm not coming in because I need to take my dog to the vets. And like, Scrappy being my baby, no, time like a kid to me. I took him to the vets and like, oh yeah, he's constipated, it's alright, all I have to do is this, and put the finger up his bum, and that was it. It was done. He could shit for a fucking week, that dog.
That's the thing, the bad thing with Ruby is, because she's a female, like, she used to have phantom pregnancies quite a bit, and like, it got to the point where she started having phantom pregnancy seizures. Where like, the first time it ever happened, my mum had a ink in the back, and like, she just fell to the floor like a ton of bricks. And then the second time, like, I had her, and I'd taken her down the stairs and she was fine, and then she was very slow coming up the stairs. Normally Ruby isn't like that. She was very slow coming up the stairs, and then literally I got her in the house and she stood just in front of the toilet door and she just dropped to the floor. I frantically phoned my mum because like, I was trying to get her to like come to, and she just wouldn't. She was like that for a few minutes, and so I phoned my mum and I was like, Mum, Ruby's just passed out on the floor, they came up today. And my mum was like, well, just sit with her, like, try and get her to come to, and I'll be home in a bit. And so that's what I done, and when she come to, she was absolutely fine. Like, nothing, you would have thought nothing was wrong with her. She was absolutely fine. And then we ended up getting her, what do you call it, spade?
Oh yeah, spade.
We ended up getting her spade, and that's when they stopped, and we'd automatically put it to the phantom pregnancies. But she was getting them like a female would a period. Like, she was having them every single month, bang on without fail, and like, she would bleed everywhere. But we tried this thing where we would put like a pair of like mild underwear on her with a dog pad, just so she's no bleeding about the house, but she wouldn't keep it on.
Yeah,
so she was just bleeding about the beds, the floor, everywhere.
We got Scrappy snipped. Well, it wasn't even my fucking choice. I was at work. We got snipped. Luna didn't get spaded because that's the thing. Like, when we first got Scrappy, it was all about Scrappy. You know, like, oh, he's a beautiful boy, I love him and stuff like that. I give him loads of attention. And then when Luna came along, like, everyone like pushed Scrappy out of the way and was like, oh, he's annoying. Like, he barks at everything, he does this, he does that. He's a dog.
That's the thing, believe it or not, Ruby never barked. The only time she would bark is if someone had chapped the metal chapper on the door, instead of just knocking on the wood. If they chapped the metal chapper, that's when she'd bark. But like, Ruby never barked at all.
Scrappy would bark, but it was like, because we moved in with her mother, and her mother being disabled, it was like she couldn't get to the door as fast, if you know what I mean, because her legs didn't work, or it could have been her just being fat. It's like a fucking daughter. I don't know. But Scrappy would bark out the window, and then I would just hear him, because I had a separate bedroom obviously, like that. I would hear him just being like, Scrappy, shut up, get out. But because Scrappy was barking, Luna would bark. So it was like they both would bark. But that's what dogs do, they follow the lead. So if one's barking, the other's gonna bark.
That's the thing, I wouldn't necessarily like two dogs. Like, I would love a dog again. But the main dogs that I would love mainly because I know they're good with kids, is a boxer or a lab. They two are mostly the chilled dogs. Literally the chillest dogs ever, especially a lab is the chillest dog ever. Boxers more hyper, jumpy or bootish, but like we had, I think Kyla was just born, which is my niece. She was just born and she would come up here to see us, and literally Ruby was just like put her head on her, like if one of us were holding her, say I was holding Kyla and she was on my left lap, Ruby would have her head on my right, and she would just sit there for like ages just staring at Kyla.
It's the way the dog's being treated. It doesn't matter what breed they are, it's the way you treat them.
That's the thing though, I'd rather have a boxer or a lab because I know they dogs. I know they dogs better than any dog ever.
It's like me, I know stuff.
And I would rather have a big dog because, like, one, they're just cuddly fucking bears, but two, like, I feel like, say if we were to get broken in and we had a wee fucking chi or something, they're not exactly what we scared of a wee chi. If I had a big dog, like a boxer, that has, like, if you look at a boxer a certain way, they look angry. And I would like a big dog to be like, if we were getting robbed, or if, like, we were walking the streets at night and someone tried to jump us. Like, a big dog, and no one's got to mess with a big dog. Especially around here, because they're all fucking shite bags. But I would just rather have a big dog. But
maybe later in life.
Maybe when we get our flat sorted and shit like that. And get my life sorted, but...
we ending it, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright guys, hope to see you in the next one. Peace, bros and girls.
Bye.